Hey everyone, so I am finally getting back to this project. I was in production for a couple of months and I had to put this down, but I wanted to pick this back up and get it out to all of my fellow creators out here. As there was such a demand, I put a post on LinkedIn for this camera compositions overlay pack, and the feedback and the desire for a tool like this was so overwhelming. It forced me to go back in and just look a little bit more closely at the overlays that I was going to provide as a part of this pack. So one of the things that I did was I did my due diligence, and I really wanted to make sure that the dynamic symmetry and the golden spiral and golden ratio overlays were actually accurate and true to the 1.618 aspect ratio. So I just wanted to go over briefly a couple of things. One is what those additional textures are going to look like, or those overlays are going to look like when you put them on top of your camera. And then secondarily, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to properly migrate this project into a new project of your own. Before, I did talk about doing like a copy and paste, which can work, but sometimes that can not work properly, especially if you have some assets that you forget to copy over from the different folders. So I wanted to just briefly show you how to also migrate this tool into your project so that you have it available for you to use, and it will be the most foolproof way of making sure that everything is working properly. So again, briefly, I just wanted to show you how you go ahead and apply the overlay to your cinema camera actor here. Right now, this is a demo map that will come with the pack when you download it. And I'm going to go into the cinema camera actor here, and I'm going to type in post pro. I'm actually under world settings here. It should be under details. Let's close that. Let's get details open here. You're going to type in post pro, and that's going to bring us to our post process material here, our post pro matte. And I open up our post process material here. And as you can see, I already have this darker pixels overlays material instance applied. But the way that you simply do that is you add a single array element. You're going to see something called asset references that you'll select, and then you'll be able to select the darker overlays material instance. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. If I delete this completely here and I hit plus here, it's going to say choose asset references. I'm going to hit the drop down menu here where it says none, and I'm going to type in DRKR, and I'm going to select not the material, but the material instance here. And as you can see now, that overlay has been applied to our virtual camera here. So if I now take an additional step here and I open up the darker pixels overlay material instance here, you're going to see all the different controls that I have available here. Again, opacity control. I can, adjust the opacity of it. I can do rotation, which will make sense for some overlays and not necessarily others. You can do an overlay scale. As you can see here, you can also do an offset with the overlay, both in the X and Y directions. Go ahead and reset those to the default here. But what I wanted to really show you here is just these newer overlays. Now, one of the things we need to understand is which Filmback we're currently using. So if I come in here, let's go ahead and clear this search here. I want to come down and see which Filmback I'm currently on. So I see 16:9 is my Filmback. And what this actually is when it comes to the aspect ratio of the sensor, it's that 1.78 aspect ratio. So what we can do now is come to our drop down here for the different overlays. I can select this, and I'm going to type in 1_778. And that's going to bring up both the golden spiral as well as the dynamic symmetry that's appropriately sized for this aspect ratio. So let's go ahead and select dynamic symmetry here. And as you can see here, it actually is root 3. I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger here so you can see that. Let's put this cinema camera actor here so you can actually see now this overlay here is using a root 3 rectangle to create this dynamic symmetry layout here, and that's for the 1.778 aspect ratio. Again, I can do the same thing here. If I come in here and I type in 1_778 and I do the same thing with the golden spiral, you're going to see that this is appropriately sized for this specific Filmback. So again, I can come in here and I can just start kind of moving things around, and I can use this overlay to start creating some really interesting sort of compositions and images. Now, for instance, if I come in here now and I say I want to change my film back, let's go back to Cinema Camera Actor here. And let's say I want to do Super 8mm, right? So I come here, Super 8mm. Oh, looks like things like that didn't work properly. You know, one of the things that I found is that you have to come out of this piloting actor, and then you can come back into Cinema Camera Actor here. And now I can come back in and change my film back. So I'm gonna go with Super 8. And as you can see now, the current overlay in there is no longer appropriately sized for this film back. But what I do have in here is an overlay specifically for Super 8 now. So I can come in here, I can type in Super 8, and there you have the Super 8 Root 2 Dynamic Symmetry overlay, and you have the one also with the golden spiral. So if I come in here and I select Dynamic Symmetry, you can now see that it's appropriately sized. Likewise, if I come in here and type in Super 8, now under the golden spiral, you can see that now that one is also appropriately sized for this film back. And we'll come back in here again, and we'll do the Cinema Camera Actor here, and you can see this much larger here. So this is something that I've created. I've created a dynamic symmetry overlay and a golden spiral or golden ratio overlay for each of the standard film backs that Unreal comes with. Now, in addition to that, we have some other overlays that are not necessarily specific to the golden ratio, and it can be used for composition or for overlays here. So if I come in here and I type in DRKR, and for instance, I have the cross here, which you can use. I can come in here and I can type in spiral. I have a spiral here, but it's not necessarily the golden ratio spiral, but it is a spiral based overlay. I believe I actually did this maybe using the 1.5 aspect ratio. So any of the film backs that have a aspect ratio of around 1.5 or so, this would be a great one to use for that. But again, you know, if you want to be creative, you could use this on the Super 8mm too if you wanted to. There really is no rules when it comes to how you want to do your layouts and compositions, but you can use these overlays as a guide for your creative visions. So that's what I really wanted to show with regards to some of the newer overlays that are going to become a part of this pack. And you can even see here under the overlay textures, I have two separate folders, one for dynamic symmetry here. If you come in here, you can see all of the different ones I have here for the different film backs are available. So again, one for 1.5, 1.778, 35mm Academy, 35mm full, IMAX 70mm, Micro Four Thirds, and so forth. And then we can go back and take a look likewise for the golden spiral. We have all of these specifically made for each of these different film backs. And then if we look in this other folder here, we have all of these different overlays that we can use. We have a center raise, we have a central cross, dot grid, we have a grid thin, a regular size grid, parallel lines, vertical lines, etc. So you have all of the different sort of composition tools available to you for your creations. The next thing that I wanted to show you is just how easy it is to migrate this project or this overlay pack into a project of your own. So like I said, when you download this project, you're going to get all of what you currently see here. And previously, in my previous video, I did a kind of copy and paste here. So what I did is I took this cam comp overlays, or actually let me go into here. I actually took the from the content folder, I went and I copied this darker pixels overlays, and I copied this darker pixels overlay folder into the project folder for the project that I was working on. It worked, but it was also kind of messy. And the proper way to do this is not using Windows Explorer and doing a copy and paste of the assets that you want to have made available in your project. Again, it can work, but sometimes it doesn't work. So what's recommended is to actually migrate the folder. So what you would do here instead is you would come to this darker pixels overlay folder, you would right mouse click on here, you would go to migrate, you go ahead and hit save selected here. And then what I'm going to do is migrate all of these assets here, right? So it's going to automatically select everything that's under that darker pixels overlays folder. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to select the content folder of the project into which I want to migrate this. Now, I'm not going to actually do this, but I just wanted to kind of show you here. I can go into another project that I have here. Let's see here. Could be any one of these projects. I'll use this content folder here. I'm not going to actually do it, but that's all you simply do is you migrate to the content folder of the project that you want to place the overlays into. You select the folder, it will automatically copy everything over. And then when you go into there, everything should work properly with the demo map included. So that's all I wanted to show you. I just wanted to kind of give a brief update before this gets released on Fab very, very soon. I have all the things that I need in order to get this finalized. I'm looking forward to all of you being able to utilize this. I'm looking forward to the feedback that you provide. I hope that it really helps you with all of your compositions and your cinematic creations. And I'm also looking forward to getting version 2.0 available and out, which will make things a little bit easier and will have more extensive overlays for you to use. Thank you so much for taking a listen, and I can't wait to see what you create.